Welcome back to Houston Life. After a big life moment, career milestone, or a career change, do you ever catch yourself saying, okay, what's next?
Yes, I've said this many, many times in my life. And for many of us, it is easy to get lost in the sauce or to feel stuck wanting to do something, but not knowing what that something is or even how to figure it out. That's where our next guest comes in. She says it is never too late to try something new. Please welcome author and podcaster Pamela Lamp to Houston Life. Perfect theme-wise. When it comes to Houston Life, we have always said it's never too late to try something new. Tell us your story. You were a Houstonian. You moved to Nashville about 4 years ago with your husband. You have 2 sons, is that right?
Correct.
And suddenly you found yourself in a new city. You had no friends, and you felt kind of lost.
Well, I guess it started in Houston. We lived here for 20 years, and we needed to make a change. We needed to move to Nashville for my husband's job. And the boys were grown and gone, and I thought, what am I going to do in Nashville? You know, all my friends, my community, my infrastructure was here in Houston. So we moved to Nashville, had no friends, didn't know a soul, and I thought, what am I going to do? And so I kind of grew tired sitting home and feeling sorry for myself, and I thought, I'm going to do one new thing every single day, easy things that anyone can do, to try and create a community for myself, to get out of the house, to meet people, and hopefully find some friends.
Wow. Okay, so how did this come about? You said, okay, I'm going to do that. I'm going to do one thing a day. And you said they're easy things. What type of things are we talking about?
Well, in the laundry room of our new home, I spread poster board all over the walls and just started writing down anything that I could think of. I read blogs and visited websites in Nashville and watched shows like yours to find out what was going on in the community. And I thought I'll go to a bookstore and see what they have going on. Bookstores always have author events and book clubs that you can join. I went to all kinds of coffee shops and stores and drove new routes home from the grocery store, went to new grocery stores. Of course, when you're new to a city, everything is new, so that makes it a little bit easier. But one thing led to another. It was a domino effect. And I still do that. I think I can drive a new route home. I can walk in a different park. I can go to a different coffee shop or a different grocery store. Or the more I delved into the project, the more I realized that there really are endless possibilities for what you can do, even if you've lived in your town for 50 years.
I am so glad we're having this conversation, that you wrote this book, Do the Next New Thing, Embrace Uncertainty and Discover Purpose, Happiness, and Friendship. This is so relatable. I know it's relatable for me. It's relatable to a lot of our viewers, whether it's a new job and moving to a new city where you know no one, a divorce,
right,
a big life change, like the kids move out of the house, you're an empty nester. What's been the feedback so far?
You know, it's been really nice. I've heard a lot of messages and even received some lovely letters from people that say, I understand, I get this. I'm either retired or my spouse has passed away, my partner has passed away, I have health issues, I've lost a child, I've relocated. Lots of different changes that we all go through at some point in our life. And they said, this is just the spark or the kickstart that I needed. The book has, I don't know if you noticed, interactive portions in it where you can, or the reader can sort of reflect and think about some things that they might do. So I'm hoping, since it worked for me, it will work for other people too.
And Pamela, speaking of you said, we had a moment during the break where you said, you know, I kind of did this because I needed a friend. I needed someone to be there for me. And you've kind of reversed that role. And now you are kind of that friend for all people, for the people that follow you. Can you kind of can you talk about that?
Well, that's nice of you to say. Thank you. I think the most enjoyment I get is when someone calls me and says, I have a friend that, or my sister just moved to Nashville, and or my friend just moved to Nashville and they don't know anyone. Will you get together with them? And I love doing that and showing them all over the city and introducing them to some avenues that they might not think of where they can meet people.
Oh.
It's really beautiful, and I think it's also important that people are talking about it. I know during the pandemic, loneliness became talked about more than it ever had been. Loneliness is an epidemic, especially among older people who are at home and not knowing what to do. Your husband asked you one night what you would do if you could do anything. So this is, there's your husband right there on the screen. It looks like you all have some medals around your neck.
Well,
what was this photo from?
We did a 5K.
Cool.
So, and we finished.
It's congratulations.
So I did get a medal for finishing.
There you go.
And it's great that your husband is your supporter and one of your cheerleaders. So he asked you if money were out of the equation, what would you do? Did you mention a podcast in that moment?
Well, I had been trying to think, back when we lived in Houston, my boys were getting older. I'd been a stay-at-home mom, which I loved being there with them. But I thought, what am I going to do? What's my next step when they're out of the house?
And we're seeing your two boys, by the way, and your one grandbaby. Congratulations.
Thank you, thank you. Well, and then we moved, so not only did I not have a passion or a purpose or a project to keep me busy, but then I had no friends. So this project, actually, this New Thing project, actually helped me to find something that I wanted to do. I kept thinking it had to be income producing, but when my husband and I were talking one night, he said, take income out of the equation. I see you agonizing and worrying about what you wanted to do, but it always seems to involve making an income. He said, if you could do anything you wanted to do, what would that be? And the words just tumbled out of my mouth. And I said, oh, I'd go around and talk to people and hear their stories and write about it or do a podcast. And he said, then do it.
We're seeing some cookies here, and one of the things that you had wanted to learn to do, you've always been fascinated with this cookies. What's the story behind them?
Well, this was during COVID, actually. I tried my hand at baking sugar cookies and decorating them, and it became kind of an addiction, a sugar addiction and a baking addiction. And it was great fun to learn to do that and to eat them.
They're beautiful.
I still do that.
Those are pro level. Can we talk about the podcast? Your podcast is called Who I Met Today. And I'm a fan of yours. We just met today, but I think the fact that you were looking for community and you built a community, and the podcast is part of that community.
It's so fun. And it was hard to get going because it's hard to find people that wanted to talk to a random woman that really didn't have much of a presence, but it has grown, and it's so fun, and I learned so much. And my Houston days, I always loved the rodeo, and I just interviewed a professional bull rider.
That
which was
is
great
awesome.
fun.
That is awesome. So what's your biggest takeaway? We're running out of time. I feel like we could do a whole show just talking about this concept, but if you had one big takeaway or one word of advice for our listeners, for our viewers who I know can relate, what would it be?
I think I learned doing this project that I had to go out and find my own happiness. It wasn't going to come to me. I had to go out and work at it and put myself out there and do new things and meet new people to make friends.
Yeah.
And you did just that.
Sure
Pamela
did.
Lamp, thank you so much.
Thanks
the book
so
is
much for
Do
having
the
me.
Next New Thing, Embrace Uncertainty and Discover Purpose, Happiness, and Friendship. By the way, you can find it online. It's also sold right here in Houston at Blue Willow Books. We have put a link up under the Scene on Houston Life section of our website, HoustonLife.tv. And Pam, I really hope you'll come back and visit us here.
Thank you so much. I would love to.
It was
Thanks
awesome.
for having me.
Congrats on the book and the
Thank you.
podcast.
Interactive book. That's cool.